Hey everyone, this is Jenn Foster with Elite Online Publishing, and I am here to talk to you today about the 7 mistakes when choosing a publisher. Now, if you're looking to find a publisher, you've just written your book, or you're in the process of writing your book and you're looking for someone to publish with, then this is the video for you, because this is the video that's going to talk to you about what mistakes you can make when choosing a publisher and the mistakes you don't want to make, right? So I'm just going to go through this. This is actually in our book, The 7 Costly Mistakes When Choosing a Publisher. And I'm going to go through and maybe even read a little bit too. So the very first one is chasing your self-publishing dream, right? Now, if you have decided to self-publish, I think that's great because you get to keep all your rights and royalties, but it's really hard to do it on your own because you've never done it before. So when you're self-publishing, you run into a lot of problems. Sometimes the place you're publishing doesn't accept your book, the cover is wrong, and that's outside the lines when you're trying to publish. Sometimes there's a lot of spelling mistakes because you forgot to get an editor. There's the book cover looks like crap because you used Amazon's KDP, like free book creator, which looks really bad. And everyone has that book that looks so awful. You didn't hire a designer. There's so many things that can go wrong when you're self-publishing. And so the number one mistake is deciding that you're going to self-publish by yourself and do it all on your own. Now, if you want to learn how to publish the book and go through all the tutorials and take all the time it takes to do it on your own, then good for you because you're great and you want to learn, right? So go ahead and do that. Go and learn. But I would suggest going through all the tutorial videos you can, watching a lot of YouTube, and really taking those hours to learn how to publish your book. Don't just go and throw it up on Amazon and hope someone buys it, because no one will. Because they really do judge a book by the cover, and there's a lot of mistakes that you can make while just trying to self-publish on your own. So that's the very first one. So you definitely don't want to do it by yourself. You want to have a team behind you. So here at Elite Online Publishing, we have a team. We have a book creator team for the book cover design. We have formatting team for the formatting. We have a marketing team for the book marketing. We have a social media marketing team if you want us to do your social media for you. We have email marketing campaigns. We have so many different things and so many different people that will help with your book launch that you really want to have a team behind you instead of doing it all on your own. Number 2 is lost publishing rights. So we have a lot of authors come to us that they've already signed a contract with a book publisher, whether it's one of the big 5 or a small independent publisher, but they pretty much signed their rights off over to the publisher. And so they don't own any part of the book. They don't own any copyright. They don't really make any royalties. I remember it was Jack Canfield who says on The Secret, if you've ever watched that movie, The Secret, he says, "I only made $1 a book." And I was like imagining, how could you only make $1 a book? Oh, because the publishers took the rest, right? Or even Tim Ferriss, I remember on his Tools for the Titans book, if you've ever read that book, it's a transcription of all his podcasts and then his thoughts on each podcast. And it's a really big book, but I remember him one time talking, he makes 30 cents on that book. 30 cents. That's ridiculous, right? We want you to make all the rights and royalties. Of course, when you're publishing, self-publishing, when we're publishing through Amazon and other distributors, it is more of a 60-40 split or a 55-45, or some people will do even a 35-75 split or whatever the math is on that. After the print price, you should be able to make the majority of that royalty instead of just getting 30 cents a book or $1 a book. And so besides the royalties, it's the rights. You don't want to lose your rights to the book. If it becomes a movie or if you want to sell it to Reese Witherspoon or something, you want to have that rights and you want to earn the money it makes from that because you wrote the book, right? You worked really hard on it. So you want to make sure that you have that and you keep your publishing rights. Here at Elite Online Publishing, we make sure you keep all your rights and all your royalties. We don't make any money on the royalties. Okay, number 3 is speed over quality. So a lot of times people will rush to publish their book because they just want to get it out. It took so long to write it. They're like, I just want to get the book out. And so they rush and they just publish it and they throw it up there with whatever book cover. And that's not going to be success, right? So you have to have a plan. You have to have a marketing plan. You have to have a really good cover. You have to have a good format. And so you don't want to rush. With Elite Online Publishing, we take 3 to 6 months to publish a book, depending on how long it takes to go back and forth on the formatting and what the author has in mind as far as their events and if they're traveling and things like that. One of our authors, it took over 9 months to do their book, but they were also writing it and working with the book coach as well. So there's all different time periods, but you don't want to rush. You don't want to just say, oh, my book's done. I'm going to put it up on Amazon this week and I'm just going to publish it and see what happens. No, you need a marketing plan. You need a goal. You need to have a book launch team. There's a lot of factors into it. So make sure you have quality and don't do speed, right? Number four is no marketing support. So these are the people who don't plan, right? If you don't have a plan, then that means you're planning to fail. We want to make sure you have a marketing plan for your book. We want to make sure that you have support, that you have a marketing team behind you who knows what they're doing, who have done it before. You want to have a good CRM. If you don't know what that is, we can create one for you. You want to have a good landing page. You want to have a good opt-in, and you want to have a good call to action in your book. Even if it's a fiction book, you want to have a good call to action. Because if you don't have a call to action, then how are you going to know who's reading your book? Amazon's not going to give you that list. It's not like selling a product on Amazon where they give you the name and address. It's selling a book. So through Amazon KDP, they don't tell you who your readers are. They might say, oh, you have 15 followers. They don't give you the names and emails of those 15 followers who followed your author page. So you want to make sure you have a good landing page. You want to have a good opt-in. You want to have a good call to action for your book so that people can go and find your page, put in their name and email so that they can get the updates. They can get your free download or whatever the free digital thing that you give them. So you want to have lots of marketing support. Let's see. The next one is focusing only on print. So a lot of people are like, I just want a hardcover book. That's all I want. I want a jacket. I want it to look prestige. I want it to look awesome. And so they just want a printed book. That's great. And I think you should have a hardcover book. I think you should have a book that has a jacket. But I also think that you're missing out because you also need an ebook. And you're missing out because you also need an audiobook. I don't know about you, but as a busy business owner, I listen to audiobooks. Of course, as a publisher, I'm reading a lot of books, but I'm reading them on my Kindle. I'm reading them on PDFs because I read them before we publish them. But for most people, everybody, I should say, everyone has a different preference for what they like to read. Some people like hardcover books and they only buy hardcover. Some people like paperback and they only buy paperback. And some people like ebooks. They have their Nook, they have their Kindle, they have their little tablet or their iPad, and they're reading with the Kindle app, or they're reading with the Nook app, or they have Kobo, right? They're reading with Kobo, which is Walmart. They have the ebooks on there. So everyone reads differently. And so that's why we believe you should have your book in all formats. You should have an ebook. You should have a paperback. You should have a hardcover. You should have an audiobook. And if you've already published your book, if you're listening to this and you're just wanting some marketing support or choosing your next publisher, you want to have all formats. So contact us. We can help you to get your book into hardcover or audiobook, or maybe you don't have an ebook because you didn't know how to format the ebook. That's tricky. There's lots of things to it. You can't just submit the EPUB file and hope and pray that it's good. You want to make sure it has an NCX view. You want to make sure people can navigate that ebook well. There's also interactive ebooks. A lot of people will do those. Children's books are different for ebook, whether it's a 2-page spread or a 1-page spread. So there's a lot of different things involved with the formatting. So definitely have all 4 formats for your book. Number 6, focusing only on the upfront costs. So that's one thing that a lot of authors will just look at what the bottom line is for the price, and they're not really looking at everything else involved with the publishing company, right? Or if you're going with a traditional publisher and they're offering a certain amount of money for you, you may want to read that fine print, because a lot of times if they're giving you a $20,000 or $25,000 advance for your book, or even $10,000, in the fine print it says you have to use that money for marketing. So it's not that you just earn that money. You have to actually put it back into the book for marketing. And there's also clauses in there that say you have to sell a certain amount of books or you have to give that money back. So really read your contracts and really understand what you're getting into. There is cost involved when you're hiring a hybrid publisher or a publisher like us, a boutique publisher, where we're helping you to self-publish, because we have costs involved, because we have a team behind us. We're hiring the book graphic designer. We're hiring the book formatter. We're making sure that you hit number 1. We have the marketing team behind us. So we want to make sure you get all of those things, as well as help you get sales, right? Number 1 thing is getting sales and becoming a bestseller. You don't want to just put a book out and not get sales, which leads us into number 7, which is failure to become number 1. A lot of people will publish with a traditional publisher or a hybrid publisher and they never hit bestseller. Or I've seen where a publisher will tell the author, you hit bestseller, and then they give them a screenshot that says #1 hot new release. Guess what? Amazon has a lot of lists on their website. And #1 hot new release simply means you've sold one book and you're new, that you're a new book. That's it. That it does not mean you're a bestseller. To become a #1 bestseller, you have to hit #1 bestseller in your category. And depending on your book, it'll be in different categories. And choosing those right categories and choosing those right keywords is one of our expertise. So we're not going to put you in basket weaving, but we're going to put you in the right category for your book, whether it's a business book, a fiction book, or a memoir, or whatever the case may be. We have a new book coming out about Social Security and getting your disability approved. That has a different category. Everyone has a different category, but we want you to become #1 on Amazon, and we want it to say #1 bestseller. And we want it to be in more than one category, if possible. And we take those screenshots, we give you that proof, and then we update your book cover so that it has that seal on it and shows that you're a bestseller, or it has the title across the top, #1 bestselling author. So you definitely want to become a #1 bestseller, because it sounds great when you go across stage, when you're speaking or introduced on a podcast, introducing the #1 international bestselling author, and then your name, right? It sounds really good. Even better, we do book awards now. So we submit your book to book awards. So it sounds even better saying you are a award-winning #1 international bestseller. So definitely you want to become bestseller, and it's simply a marketing strategy, right? To become #1 is just knowing how to do it and having the marketing plan in place. All right, number 8 is not having an online author presence. What does that mean? That means that even though your book is on Amazon, you don't have an Amazon author page. So a lot of authors will not do this, or they're with a publisher who doesn't do it for them. So we've had many authors come to us for bestseller campaigns, and we notice that they do have an author page, but it's not linked to their book. Or it says they click on their author name and it goes to a bunch of books. That means you have not claimed your author page. So we make sure people have that author page claimed. This is really key because Google loves Amazon, and if someone's searching for you, searching your name or searching your book title, you want your Amazon author page to come up first. And it will once you claim that page. And so we help our authors do that and make sure that it's loaded with SEO, right? Search engine optimization. So having a really good bio headshot, and making sure there's links in your bio so people can go to your website and put in their name and email. Awesome. And then are we on 9? 9, the self-publishing. So self-publishing versus hybrid publishing versus boutique publishing versus traditional publishing. So we help you self-publish your book. The reason why we chose this avenue instead of taking royalties or saying we're going to make different ways to make money. There's some, publishers that charge money for the books. So they say, with your contract, you have to order 5,000 books and you have to order space in our warehouse. You have to pay us a monthly fee, like all these different things. We don't believe in any of that. If we want you to be self-published, we want you to have your own accounts. We want you to be able to know how to log into those accounts, how to get your royalty reports. It's going to deposit straight into your bank account. So we help you self-publish. And I think that is the way that it should go. Number 10. Around 10? Yeah. Final words. So I think that you can become a bestseller. I think that making sure that you have all your publishing rights, all your royalties, making sure you have a team behind you is the way to go when choosing a publisher. There is other publishers out there that are similar to Elite Online Publishing. We actually have a mastermind where we work with, in our masterminds, only book publishers and marketers. And we just believe that if you feel like it's the right fit to work with us, then we want to work with you. And if we jive and we have good back and forth, we say if we go and have a drink together or have a cup of coffee together or sit down and talk one-on-one and you get a good vibe, right? We pass the crazy eye test. That's a good one. Then we want to work with you. So fill out the author submission below and we can see if it's a good fit for us to work with you. And we can help you to get your book self-published and get the marketing behind it and have the right book cover and the right categories and the right keywords so that you can become an award-winning international best-selling author. Hope to work with you soon. Make sure you click the link below and fill out the author submission form.